Good morning. Good morning. Please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And here's Laura with the announcements.
Good morning, St. Johnsbury Academy. Today is a green day. It's Friday, August 25th, 2023. Students, please do not place your book bags in the front foyer of Fuller Hall or on the steps during chapel. Your bags should be left outside, on the sides of the porch, or on the grass, or in Colby Hall or Severance Hall. This is to not interfere with the exit of the building. Students who have free blocks are allowed to be on the campus greens and at the library. Students with a free block are not allowed to be in the parking lot area without permission from an adult. Please make sure that you have a pass from an adult employee before you go to your car between Chapel and E-Block. All students, faculty, and staff. A reminder that you must check out with the Lexington staff each time you go through the line. Your first lunch of the day is free for all, and any meal after that will be charged at a price of $4 for students and $5.25 for adults. Attention all students taking this Saturday's SAT exam. Please check your STJ Labs account for important information regarding your test on Saturday. All athletes in or out of season are invited to attend the Student Athletic Advisory Council's first meeting of the year this afternoon at 2:45 in Fuller Basement. We'll be coming up with football game themes and discussing the start of all fall sports. 28 different clubs were represented at our club and activity fair on Tuesday. Please check your STJ Labs emails and listen for chapel announcements for when those clubs will meet. If you have any questions, please stop by the Student Life office to see Mr. LaCroix. Also, a huge thank you to our facilities team, Mr. Ford, Mr. Rain, and Mr. Cushman, for setting up and breaking down such a big event. Hilltones. Oh, do you want to clap? Let's clap for that. Hilltones, the Academy's select vocal ensemble, will have auditions next week. Sign up on the door of Morse 104, the band room, and pick up an information sheet. See Mr. Rowe with questions. Attention Hilltop or mountain bikers. Our first practice will be on Wednesday, August 30th. We will depart Brantview Drive at 3:30 and return to campus by 6:15. If you are a day student and has signed up for Hilltop or MTB, be sure to get your permission form and liability waiver into Mr. Duso in Colby 202 no later than 3 p.m. on Monday in order to participate in Wednesday's practice. Happy birthday today to Nate Delman, Jaden Renna, and Alex Genderon. Happy birthday tomorrow to Derek Noyes, Kyle Simmons, and Kaylin Vogel, and Haley Martin. And happy birthday on Sunday to Tyler Gagnon, Carvin Lee, Isabella Laterno, and Katie Lowe. Happy birthday. Today, varsity field hockey will be at Berlin Senior High School at 4 o'clock, and JV field hockey at Berlin Senior High School at 5:30. Please dismiss the teams at 1:15. Football boys varsity will be versus North Country Union High School at 7. Saturday, boys varsity soccer scrimmage at 1 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. So good morning. Happy Friday. Congratulations getting to the end of this first exciting week of school. I do want to suggest that if you did sign up for a club, or if you're leading a club, think about coming up in chapel and talking about your club. It's really a good way to let people know what you're doing. And if you have a talent, if you have musical talent or theatrical talent or writing talent, or just want to tell your story, please let Mrs. Lejeune know, or me, or your advisor, or somebody know that you'd like to share that in chapel. We will do some outreach to you, to students, to faculty. We want to hear your voices here in chapel, if only because I don't have that much to say every morning. Thank you, Mr. Lenzini, for his talk yesterday. Yesterday, I was not here because I went down to Massachusetts, where I'm from, to take care of some things with my parents who are elderly. They're in their 90s. right now. And they need some help with some things. They need some help with some things that they used to help me with. And that is a really interesting position to be in. I think probably some of the adults in the room know what that's like, that it's a strange transition to be taking care of your parents. But while I was there, we got talking about an old friend of mine, and it reminded me of how important that person was to me during my high school years. I went to a boarding school in Massachusetts, and some of the boarders know a little bit of this story. I'm not going to tell everything I told the boarders, but it was around 300 students, almost all of whom boarded. So there were only a few day students. I was a day student. It was situated in a real rural area, sort of in farm country, and it had a brick wall around it. So it was literally and figuratively set off and isolated from the town, behind gates. So it wasn't connected either by proximity or in spirit to the local area, the way that we are, very much so. I was one of a handful of day students, so there was a real sense of the local kids, who they were called townies, which was a purposely unfriendly term. I wasn't technically a townie because I didn't come from the town. But as a local-ish student, as a day student, I felt identified that way. And it was applied to me somehow, and I always remember how it made me feel on the outside of things. It put me consciously on the outside. So in my first year of high school, I was really trying to figure out who in the world I was. I knew what I'd been at my old school. It was an all-girls school with about 30 students in my 8th grade class that I graduated. I loved it. And then all of a sudden in high school, there were all these boys who, I also loved, but it was very different. They were terrifying to me and wonderful, and everybody had the right clothes and the right haircuts and seemingly knew exactly the right thing to say at any given moment. They seemed to know about things that I didn't know about. They knew about, National Public Radio, and they'd been to France and multiple times. And at my previous school, we had started every day in the gym at an assembly, a little bit like what we do here in chapel. And we'd sing a song or a hymn, any of which I could still sing for you at a moment's notice with feeling. But the chapel at my new school was not a gym. It was a gray stone Gothic church with glowing wood and the names of alumni and benefactors carved into giant stone slabs on the walls. The other students, again, all seemed to know something that I didn't know. They seemed to be in on it. I somehow felt that when they went home, their homes probably didn't look like my home. My dad was the town pharmacist. He was a pharmacist and lived down the street and ran the local pharmacy. My parents were very frugal. They were Depression babies, both only children. They would share a tea bag. So not each use a tea bag, but use one between them. They would save sheets of aluminum foil and smooth them out. And they did this because they wanted to be able to afford to send me and my brother to a school like St. Johnsbury Academy, which the town did not pay for, which we're blessed to have that here at St. Johnsbury Academy. But the school I went to was wonderful. It was a good school. But it was not a school where they cared at all about making you feel welcome or comfortable in your own skin. So I didn't really get a chance to find out whether these other students' homes were anything like my home because I just wasn't part of that world. In other words, I did not feel at all as if I belonged there. Not at all. I was also a little younger. I was 12 when I started high school. I was a little more naive, a little less in the know for lots of reasons. I was awkward and I was adrift. And that feeling, though, changed a lot in my sophomore year when I found the person who would become my best friend, who I thought was the coolest person I'd ever met. She got Christmas cards from the Grateful Dead. She grew up in a commune in California, and her parents were hippies. I could not believe how cool that was. She would write every day in a journal, a composition book. She would write down just what she was thinking, anything she wanted. It hadn't occurred to me that that was something that you could do. So I got myself a composition book and started writing in it. And I realized I could write anything I wanted in this book. And it felt like a superpower. Anything I wanted, I could write down. So this person gave me some superpowers. I found her like a touchstone and an empowering person. I became more myself, more who I really am. And we are still friends. We're still friends, and she actually is a principal of a school in Vermont, which neither of us could ever have seen that coming. So my larger message is that it's okay if you feel adrift and awkward and haven't yet found those people. You'll probably find them soon. Those people who help you stay grounded and who will inspire you and help you be a better version of yourself. That will happen, and we want to make it happen. We want to help make it happen and make this a place where it's really easy for that to happen. And really likely. So I would add today to keep in mind that probably most of us feel that everyone else or many others have it all figured out, that they always know the right thing to say or have some sort of cultural key that we maybe don't have access to. That's just not true. We are all still trying to figure it out together. We're all always learning. So with that thought and our theme for the year, we'll pick that up next week. Please have a good weekend, everybody. Enjoy today. Get to know people, because you never know who's going to be your best friend. Okay, have a good day, everyone. Faculty.